It was a beautiful little city. I fell in love with it.
Everything was wide open and rough and wild.
The conditions for growing are really, really good in Richmond. Lots of sunlight, and it's not too hot.
It's kind of a combination of industry and semi-rural landscape that most people remember. They would have vegetable gardens and a cow tethered out behind their home and walk up to McDonald Avenue to do their shopping.
Richmond was a working man's town. You had the Pullman coach refurbishing factories there.
Standard Oil, the railroad, and later the Ford Assembly Building. Kind of a working class community.
You had a diversity of ethnicities and races living in Richmond. Italian Americans and African Americans, a Japanese American population, Chinese population, Native American, Indian population, as well, of course, as Mexican American. Kaiser plant located there before Pearl Harbor. Richmond had a really good deep-water harbor, perfect for the shipping industry. It had lots of open space. It also had a working force.
The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage.
It was absolute horror. We were in total shock and terror because we were being told immediately that we might be bombed, and we had to immediately go into blackout mode.
When we got into the war, there was a big demand. We had to have ships, we had to have everything. I heard on my car radio, "Women, do something for your country. Go to the Richmond shipyard and be a welder." I had not the faintest idea what it was. I just knew that it was something that they needed done real bad, and I decided that that's what I was going to do.
Loaded that suitcase and got it on a train and came to California and stayed with my sister, Caroline.
We all thought we could make money working in the shipyards. Father was the type of man that looked for better jobs, and he wanted me with him.
Henry J. Kaiser, he brought a lot of people back from the South to work in the shipyard.
For African American Southerners, the most frequently given graduation gift was not a watch or a typewriter, but a train or bus ticket out to the West.
In 2 years, little Richmond of 23,000 had become a bustling metropolis of 130,000. This fabulous growth necessitated civic expansion.
Richmond's population exploded physically, but also in terms of cultural and social and even political differences that made living together and working together a challenge.
I remember always sleeping in crowded conditions.
There wasn't enough housing for anybody.
Some were living in a truck, some living in a car. Everybody was taking in roomers. I had a roommate. I worked swing shift. She worked graveyard. We slept in the same bed.
That way I could sleep in the daytime and they could sleep in the bed at night. In downtown Richmond was just seething with people.
Lots of people on the streets. I mean, like 4th of July or like Cinco de Mayo.
Grocery stores were open 24 hours. Everything was open 24 hours a day during that time.
Everything was moving. The energy was everywhere.
You had clubs like Minnie Lou's Restaurant and Blues Club in North Richmond. And then there was, of course, this enormously popular club called Tapper's Inn. It was a nightclub, a blues club, and they had sort of in the back room the slot machines and card games and things like that.
It was a busy, happening, good town. People had jobs, and there was optimism, and there was an energy.
In addition to the shipyards, there were 55 other defense-related industries in Richmond, so there were workers moving in all directions.
Everybody was working towards the same goal. We wanted to bring the boys home.
I went to the hiring hall, and they said, you have to join the Boilermakers Union. So I went there, and this man, stern, big, and said, we don't take any women or blacks. The next day, I went back to the hiring hall, and they gave me the same story, and I started crying. And there was a man sitting at a desk, and he says, go back up there. And they hired me.
But then when they brought in the women, oh my land, the men laughed at them terribly at first. You know, look at her walk, look at her. She doesn't even know how to hold a hammer.
There were tensions in the workplace that related to both race and gender. There were people who said, I'm not going to work with a black person, and there were men who said, I'm not going to work alongside a woman. So we talk about unity during World War II, but there were lots and lots of bridges that had to be built.
In the case of Kaiser, the labor unions, particularly the Boilermakers Union, began reluctantly to accept first women and then African Americans, men and women. The momentum to challenge Jim Crow that really launched the modern civil rights movement grew out of the Double V campaign, that African Americans pushed for victory over the enemies abroad, but also over Jim Crow at home. The Pittsburgh Courier really was behind launching this campaign for African Americans to challenge and defeat segregation, discrimination based on race, in housing, in the workplace, in schools.
I went to Richmond High and was taught welding. And I worked at Kaiser's, but I never worked side by side with on the same ship with a man welding.
I'll tell you what, the women were the best welders. If you give the woman the job, she goes and does that job until it's done right.
It was like creating an embroidery in metal. I could point out that was a man's weld, and that was a woman's weld, because they look different. The men's isn't as uniform.
We worked for hours, and we did twice work the men did.
A new world shipbuilding record is set at one of Henry J. Kaiser's California shipyard. 24 days ago, just a keel plate.
Henry Kaiser was a genius.
He started one of the first health plans, and he started a place for people to live and things that people didn't have before.
He developed the child care centers to accommodate the children needing care while their parents were at work.
And here's the man who builds them in record time, Henry J. Kaiser, with a model to show how it's done. Built to scale, the 14-foot model is made of 81 pieces.
Everything was prefabbed under Kaiser, where they had the big sheets of steel and they'd weld those together and then move them by crane onto the ships.
We call them the Horley cranes. They were so enormous, and they would lift these massive pieces of metal and boxes, and they were just one of the biggest things I'd ever seen.
And that's how come ships could be built so fast. Parts would be welded together and ready to be put onto a ship in no time.
Our motto was 10 down the ways in 31 days.
Down the ways. They would slide that ship down into the San Francisco Bay.
Rain or shine, ships quietly slipped into San Francisco Bay faster and faster. By the fall of 1943, more than one ship a day left Richmond, the most colossal shipbuilding spectacle the world had ever witnessed.
They were always giving speeches and telling us how the other yards, how fast they were getting a ship built, so there was always competition.
And I remember when we worked on the Robert Peary, which was built, by the way, I think is, the record has it either 3.5 or 4.5 days from beginning to finish. And I think that's an amazing thing.
The launchings at Yard 1 and 2 were particularly festive occasions. They got famous people from all over the country. Ship would go sliding down the ways right after the champagne was cracked over the bow. Very ceremonial.
It was a patriotic time. You'd see the kids collecting newspapers, collecting tinfoil, collecting anything. Women, they gave up all their girdles, all their underwear that had elastic.
It really was the most wonderful time of coming together of the American people that I have ever lived through.
It wasn't as if the shipyards closed and some balloon burst and Richmond was depopulated. It really continued to be a thriving community.
Today, I think you have waves of newcomers who have that kind of vibrancy that those newcomers during the wartime had. Richmond, it was called the city that won the Purple Heart because of the amount of change and crowding in the war effort and turning out those ships in record numbers. Something happened in the small town of Richmond that people should be very proud of.
I was very proud of myself that I worked in these shipyards. Proud of myself because I thought we were doing something for the war effort.
From that point on, I always thought, I can do anything I want to do. If I set my mind to it, I can do anything. And that's how I've lived the rest of my life.
This was the place to be. What sticks with me the most was how wonderful everybody was to each other. Very patriotic and pulling together, and it was just a good time.
That's what makes the story so interesting, that these were ordinary people who did extraordinary things.
Ladies, could you please stand up? We would love to give you a big round of applause. Rosies, please stand up. Wow. Thank you to all the women and all the men who worked on the home front during World War II. We're so honored that you could be with us tonight to be a part of our celebration. It's all about you and your legacy, and it's great to have you here. We're gathered tonight in the historic Craneway Pavilion. What an incredible space. This building was built in 1930 by the Ford Motor Company, and it was once the largest automobile factory on the West Coast. 80 years ago, by the summer of '42, Ford had converted the building to military purposes, and they were producing Jeeps and finishing tanks and building other military vehicles for the war effort. By the end of the war, they had built 49,000 Jeeps and over 91,000 tanks and other military vehicles for the war effort. So it was big production and a really important place for Richmond, and really important for all the ladies who worked here and in this area. So we're really proud of all of you. Today, the building is part of the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historic Park, and it's one of many historic buildings that are part of the park and managed as part of our effort to tell the Homefront story. And hope, if you have not already been to the visitor center, which is just on the other side of the exit doors there, that you will take the time to visit, because there's a really great presentation, really good information about what really happened on the home front during the war. Thank you again for joining us tonight for our celebration. We have a great program for you, and now I'd like to introduce the Trust's Executive Director, Sarah Pritchard, and she's going to tell you all about our program.
Thank you. Oh, the keys. Yes, our silent auction is closed. Thank you for bidding, and to the winners. Thank you so much. And then there's one other game that we can play. Our board members have donated bubbly whites, reds, and rosés, and we have a full case for you of premium wine, and that will continue on through the evening. We have 100 of those, and I have a key too, so. All right, hold the line. Okay, welcome. Rosie the Riveter Trust is the official nonprofit partner of the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Park. I'd like to recognize, what should I do? I'd like to recognize and welcome our new superintendent, Kaylin Berry. Kaylin is an outstanding leader, and we're proud to work in partnership with her to build and promote the park. I'm honored to serve as the executive director and work to fulfill the mission of the trust, to honor the hard work of the women and men who worked on the home front during the war and to tell their diverse stories, to preserve the historic buildings in Richmond that are part of the park, including the Craneway and others that supported the Kaiser shipyards, to educate new generations about the valiant work on the home front to support the war effort. But tonight, our mission is to celebrate, and it is also to raise funds to support our important work. So welcome again to Rosie's Big Bash. Thank you. I do want to call out the board and our board members and our committee members. I'm so honored to introduce them. They put in a lot of work as volunteers. Letitia Moore, President. Kyle Witchelman, Vice President. Michelle Fideli, who is Chair of the Gala and also our Secretary. Jane Barkey, Tom Butt, Mark Cameron, Kathy Durfee, Diane Hedler, Lynn Horiuchi, Ebony Lewis, Scott Tandy, and Nicholas Targ. I also want to call out Phil Young. He's our pro bono legal support, and he has done a tremendous job supporting us through the years. And 3 of our committee members are here tonight. We have Laura Cleaves, Osvaldo Troche Jr., and Rika Lucia. Thank you so much, you guys. I'd like to recognize some of our politicians, our elected officials in the room. Tom Butt, who I mentioned, he's actually a founding board member. He's also mayor of Richmond. And we have El Cerrito's council member, Paul Fideli. Thank you. And if there's any other elected officials, please at this time stand up, wave your hand. We'd like to acknowledge you. All right. I can't do anything without my incredible team. So I do want to shout it out. And in particular, I just want to recognize Sarah Jo James. She's our development manager, and she led the charge for this gala tonight. Jo did it all. Huge round of applause for her. And our incredible staff is also Lisa Foote, Martha Henderson, Amy Tanner, and Molly Fagan, who help support communications and events. And here's something I am extremely proud of, is that we have just recently brought on our first program manager. Leo Cuevas is our first hire of a program community engagement manager, and that's a huge step for us as a small nonprofit. So we're thrilled about this. He's helping us with all our youth programs. It's also days away from our retired National Park Ranger Betty Reed's 101st birthday. And Betty is traveling, but we just want to honor her and celebrate her. It's next week. And you know, Betty still is working as a volunteer. She's getting online every Thursday, 2 p.m. that she's available, and she's there to talk with everyone. Thank you, Betty. Now, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce our MC for this evening, Bianca Bruce. Bianca is a successful business strategist and motivational speaker. I am thrilled that she is here. She's known for engaging audiences and leading with her heart. We're grateful to have her with us tonight as we preserve history, continue to break down barriers, and lift up our youth. Bianca?
Good evening, everybody. How are you? Oh, that's nice. That's nice. My name is Bianca Bruce. Those of you who have not clapped, I'm assuming it's because you're enjoying the beautifully plated dinner that you were just served. How is the dinner? Yes. Here we are. Well, it is really my pleasure to be with you tonight. This is my first time with Rosie the Riveter. It's my first time in this incredible building, and it's my first time meeting all you all. It was very nice to take selfies with you. Thank you. You will be on Instagram. You will be celebrated. I would like to start the evening off with a video that allows us to look back. But before I do, we live in a digital age, and you will get to experience the digital fun technology tonight. We'll get to see this video, and we also get to welcome our audience at home. So please give a huge round of applause for all the ladies and gentlemen and children who are watching us tonight. Ready, set, let's do it! That's That's lovely. I want to tell you something. You may not know this yet, but you'll find out soon enough. I will tell you what to do lots and lots and lots of times tonight. So I'm enjoying to see that you're very responsive. It's one of the reasons I became a mother, to tell my children what to do. And then they grew up, and I became an MC. So that's how that worked. Let's watch a video. And this is a look back. A look back on the last year of how far we've come and how much further we want to go. I want you to really pay attention, and I want you to activate your own vision for why you are here tonight as part of this function for Rosie the Riveter. So let's roll it.
Rosie the Riveter Trust is the official nonprofit sponsor of Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park. Through our donors' generous support over this past year, we've been able to continue important youth projects, such as Every Kid Outdoors, where this year, due to the pandemic, our Parks Rangers brought homefront history into the classroom and students created their own oral history projects. The Trust's other youth program, Rosie Service Corps, continues to teach youth the legacy of Rosie the Riveter through skill building and teamwork.
The Rosie Service Corps program is truly valuable to the city of Richmond as well as the surrounding cities and beyond. It's a little bit unconventional in the sense that it is very hands-on, and we really push them to different limits. And so the Rosie Service Corps program really provides a different outlet for our youth to find their way and find a different path to follow for the future.
We're really giving the students that chance to, one, become familiar, build community, become more involved, and really empower them to continue doing the work. We're hoping to invite all those students and families back and really want to tell the community that this program exists and there is a place for them to really learn, feel empowered, and feel a part of this community here in Richmond.
Rosie the Riveter Trust also initiated new projects, such as Rosie Presents, an educational public program focused on history and culture related to the World War II home front. And with the guidance of a consortium of advisory partners, we created the Rosie the Riveter Certification Awards, given annually in recognition of companies that demonstrate a proven commitment to gender diversity and equity in the trades. The Trust is also committed to ensuring that our national park and the legacy of those working on the World War II home front reaches as many people as possible. And over the past year, we upheld that promise in various ways, including to help send our Rosie ambassadors Marion Wynn and May Cryer to Hawaii for the 80th anniversary commemoration of the attack on Pearl Harbor. This past March, we installed the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront Wall of Honor adjacent to the Visitor Center, where several of the faces and names of those working for the war effort at home can be seen by thousands of people walking on the Bay Trail. This project has continued to grow, and our goal is to expand it as far as possible. We also produced a short documentary film about our Rosie ambassadors and their impact on bringing history to life, and it will be shown at the Parks Visitor Center this fall. Our goal now is to secure funding to screen a longer, extended version to audiences outside the park, including film festivals, but we can only do this with the continued support from our donors.
Please donate, because if you don't, Lisa's going to cut us out of the film. Really? Not really.
Well done, lovely audience, well done. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce the Park Superintendent, Ms. Kay Lynn Berry.
Hello, everyone. I got to stand up on this stage for the first time just about 5.5 months ago when we celebrated Ranger Betty Reed Soskin's retirement, and I'm even more tickled to have those several months under my belt in getting to know this park, getting to know all of its many supporters, and of course, our fabulous Rosies. We're now going to introduce you to the heroes of this story, our Rosies. We're calling it the Rosie Roll Call, and during this roll call, we will read aloud each name and a brief description of their wartime work. We invite each Rosie to stand as they are able when their name is called, taking a seat again when the description is complete. In a lovely gesture, each Rosie is also going to receive a special gift from the Boilermakers. They have generously created a personalized souvenir plaque shown here by Kelly. That will be over here to y'all's left, Rosie's or Rosie family members, and it may be picked up at any time. They're personalized, they're for each of you. Let's begin the roll call. Ernestine Ween. Excellent applause, and I forgot a key line. Please hold your applause until the end. Stay with me for a moment, Ernestine, and let me read about your wartime work. Not all Rosies worked in factories. With no one to work in the fields and orchards, fruits and vegetables were rotting away. At the age of 16, Ernestine went to school for half a day and worked half a day in the fields in Woodland, California. Ernestine is 94 years old. Thank you. Thank you, Ernestine. I know you all aren't going to listen to me if I ask you to hold your applause, but I'll ask one more time. Ms. Marion Wynn. One of 11 children, Marion came out from Minnesota in 1944 to work with her father in the Kaiser shipyards and star later in many movies related to the Rosie the Riveter Park. Her father was a leadman, and she became a pipe welder at Shipyard Number 3. She's a park ambassador, presenting her story to visitors for the past 10 years. Marion is 96. Jean Gibson. Jean traveled with a friend from Minnesota to Seattle to join the war effort, where she became a welder at Todd Pacific Shipyards. She also ventured north to work in Juneau, Alaska for the Army Transportation Corps' Embarkation Center, making manifests and hatch lists. Jean is 96 years old. Marion Suzette. Marion came from Oregon to Richmond to babysit for her sister Phyllis, who had just become a welder. Marion had every intention of going back to Oregon until she saw a cute Coast Guard boy whom she later married. Following a 6-week engineering class at UC Berkeley, Marion was hired at Shipyard Number 3 as a draftsman for blueprints. Marion is also a park ambassador and has shared her story with our happy visitors for 10 years. Marion is 96 years old. And so far, I haven't seen a single one who looks even close to their age. There must have been something in working for your country during that time to help you stay youthful. Dorothy Finger. Dorothy worked as a laborer in the Union Refinery at Rodeo, California. Tasks ranged from shoveling dirt to cleaning out the inside of a railroad tanker. One time, she had a date who was already waiting at her home when she got back from a long shift at work. At the sight of her dirty appearance, he asked an impertinent question of Dorothy's mother. "Mrs. Riley, how could you let your daughter do this kind of work?" Needless to say, this was not a love connection for this Rosie. Dorothy is 97 years old. Frances Reposard-Treffelet. After graduating from Oakland Technical High School, Frances started working at the Alameda Naval Air Station as an aviation mechanic helper, repairing damaged aircraft brought back on aircraft carriers. Her good memories are of waving hello and goodbye to the sailors on the aircraft carriers. Her worst memories are repairing gun turrets that were shot up and stained with blood. Frances is 97 years old. Willa Mae Thomas. Hailing from Arkansas, woo pig suey, same with me. Willa Mae is one of 7 siblings who came out to work in the Richmond shipyards. She landed a job as a scaler after applying for work in the employment office. She and her family members lived at the Canal War Apartments between Girard and First here in Richmond. Willa Mae is 97 years old. Louise Ash White. Louise began working at Douglas Aircraft in Long Beach, California, as a metal worker, preparing airplane rings for riveters. As a sheet of metal was slid onto the wing, she pounded the metal to fit the wing shape. Louise said there was a strong sense of patriotism at this time as people of different races and backgrounds joined together to make our country stronger. As did you, Louise. And Louise is 97 years old. Mary Bianchi Highfill. In 1943, Mary went to work at Standard Oil Company as a stillman in the asphalt division, where they brought the crude oil down from the hills, and she cooked it to a certain temperature before it was placed in barrels to be shipped off to where it was needed. And Mary is 98 years old. Granddaughter Janelle O'Hara is representing another of the park's Rosie ambassadors, Mary Torres, who's unable to attend tonight. Thank you, Janelle. After graduating in Pennsylvania, Mary saw an ad in the paper that war workers were needed out in California. One Sunday, while her parents were at Mass, Mary packed a suitcase, wrote a note saying she was leaving to look for a job, and that she'd write them in 6 months to let them know how she was. She first got a job as an inventory clerk at McClellan Air Force Base before becoming a journeyman welder at Moore's Dry Dock in Oakland, and Mary is 99 years old. Jessie Santos. Jessie is Richmond born and raised, and at the age of 19, she became a welder at the Kaiser Plate Shop in Yard 2. She recalls her time at the shipyards fondly and loved working there, being one of the last women to leave the shipyards in October 1945. Jessie is 99 years old. Rosella Jackson. Rosella and her husband followed his parents from Salinas to work in the Kaiser shipyards. All of them lived in a small house in Oakland, which they were very happy to have. She worked in the ways during the graveyard shift, and her husband worked as a lead man before he left to go to the service. Rosella is 101 years old. We all know their ages are not the most remarkable things about them, but I sure am glad for their longevity. We're so glad you all are here. And finally, and definitely not least, Lucy Ober Sylvie. Lucy was a riveter at Roar Aircraft and Douglas Aircraft in San Diego before finishing up as a supervisor at Douglas Aircraft in Santa Monica. Lucy is 102 years old. Ladies, thank you all so much. And even though those hands were clapping that whole time, let's do it just one more time. Thank you all.
Wow, that was so inspiring and so lovely. And I think I may understand why you all lovely ladies are here at the ages of 90s and 102. Happy birthday. Hard work must be an elixir for beauty, which you should remember later tonight. It is my pleasure now to invite some of our Rosies up here, our Rosie ambassadors. We're excited to welcome them on stage. If you think back to your childhood, who do you remember learning from the most? I bet many of us would agree that we learned from our grandparents, from the older generation, who gave us a sense of purpose and understanding and belonging. And it is our pleasure tonight to learn from these beautiful, hardworking, exceptional, lovely Rosies who are going to answer some of our questions. We'll be patient as they're walking up, and we'll encourage them with a round of applause.
I'll just use this for me and then.
I wish we were having a cup of coffee and cookies and crumpets and we're sitting in a lovely living room. That would be so nice. But instead, we get to sit with this beautiful audience who are all here to celebrate you and the Rosie the Riveter Trust. So it is my pleasure to get to ask you, ladies, a few questions. My first question is to Marian Wynn and Marian Sisse. Miss Sisse, I have an accent and I have to practice my words. I will say I practiced your last name so many times, I shall never forget it. So, ladies, the Visitor Center opened 10 years ago, but you both became involved with the park way before then. Can you tell us a little bit about how you decided to volunteer your time and why?
I was actually involved with the Rosie movement before there even was a park here. But when I met the ranger, Elizabeth Tucker, I then became an official park representative, volunteer. So.
I got involved before they had us start telling our stories and everything. And my daughter had worked here for the city, and the park was involved in the same building. So she came home one day and told me that if I went in, that maybe I would get a chance to volunteer. So I went in and talked to Elizabeth, who was the leader, and she gave me a jacket and said, "You're in." So here I am. That was in 2006.
Wow. Thank you. Good job. So I hear somebody can invite you to do good work, and you just say yes, and then you're in. What does having this park mean to you, and how does it feel to represent the park, to be a Rosie ambassador? And if I can ask the very back of the room to shh. so we can hear these lovely ladies. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. What does having this park mean to you? And how does it feel to represent the park and to be a Rosie ambassador?
Well, I'm very proud to once again be representing the group of women who served on the home front. We were all volunteers then, and I am still a volunteer. I'm a very patriotic person. My dad was in the service, and the flag has always meant something to me. And I'm glad that I can be an ambassador, if that's what they call us now, which is very elevating. But Marion and I talk every Friday here at the Visitor Center, and we're happy to do that, to tell our stories and to let people know how it was back in the 1940s, and to have a war on both sides of our country, and people need to be reminded of that. We went through some hardships too, rationing and our loved ones gone. It was a special time, and I'm just glad that I represent that generation, and I want to keep promoting the fact that women can do anything they put their mind to.
Thank you.
I think my biggest joy is talking to the young girls. I tell them, don't let anybody say you can't do it. If you haven't tried it, try it. You can do it. I didn't know I could be a welder. I came to California when I was 18, and I got a job as a pipe welder. Who would have thought an 18-year-old woman could do a pipe welding job for the ship? I would sit there when I was finished with one pipe and the men were changing it for a new one, and I would sit there and look at my diamond engagement ring that I had just gotten, and I'd never had a ring before, let alone a diamond. And I'm 18 years old, and I'm sitting here welding pipes for the ship. I couldn't believe it, but here I am today talking about it. I meet so many young girls, and they say, I could never have done that. And I said, how do you know? You haven't tried it. Don't say no until you know you can't do it. You can do it.
Lovely. So shifting gears a little bit, Tammy Brimley, nice to meet you. So you have been spoken about as the Rosie Wrangler, which is such a lovely title, and I want to know, how did you get that name to be the Rosie Wrangler, and are there applications open to be your associate?
Well, the Rosies said that if they called me their agent, they would have to pay me. So,
smart.
So I actually joined as a docent, and when I found out that they had real Rosie the Riveters associated with the park, I made a beeline to our then lead ranger, Elizabeth Tucker, and I kind of became her right-hand woman, and we kind of morphed into this Rosie presentations every Friday, and so I wrangle them up for the presentations and trips around the bay to promote their stories. That's how I became the Wrangler.
Sounds like a lovely, lovely job. What do you hope for all of us here tonight, for our audience, for the listeners, for our participants? What do you hope for all of us to take away and to remember long after we're finished with this evening and had a long, good time?
I would say, being able to talk to these ladies in person, it's living history. It's not a dry page, from a history book. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys are able to talk with them and be able to remember their stories during a time when the world was uncertain, and they stepped up and they helped produce the military might that our soldiers needed. And I hope that you can take that away for a future, you know, in the future, to be able to come together if we ever need to do that again.
So we just learned about the beautiful documentary that was produced just now in this last video, but I'm really curious to hear and to learn from you ladies what it felt like to be in that documentary, to be movie stars. I think that's what you were called earlier, and to share your story in such a way that will respectfully long outlive you and be passed on to the next generation. What did that mean to you?
I'm overwhelmed. Really, I feel honored that I've been given the responsibility. I didn't ask for it, but I'm willing to go with it. But can I veer a little bit from the program? I want to give more credit to our Wrangler, Tammy. You know, what goes down on paper is not anything of what this woman has done for us. I mean, not only the trips that she's organized and agonized over, and she has taken us so many adventures we as older women never thought we'd ever experience, and it's all because of her. And her birthday was yesterday, and I want somebody to say happy birthday.
You heard the request. So on the count of 3, we are all going to say happy birthday. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Happy birthday, dear Tammy. Happy birthday to you. Did you want the mic back?
I can't top that.
All right, so let's chat a little bit about what else is possible and what is next. So we have a few questions for our Interpretation, Education, and Outreach Division Manager, Kelly English. So can you explain why these first-person accounts are so important for this generation?
Absolutely. Before I do that, I'm going to jump back on the Tammy bandwagon for a second and let you all know that this is a woman who most of her work is behind the scenes. The Rosies are often the focus, and she makes it so. She does the things that the park can't do in terms of helping to coordinate and organize. I am so excited to have an opportunity to recognize her the way she needs to be recognized. So thank you, Tammy, on behalf of the National Park Service for all that you do, because it really cannot be overstated. So, that being said, at this park, we are so incredibly fortunate to have these amazing people, and women certainly, but we've also had some men who were home front workers. And you know, this history is recent history because we have the people who lived it right here who can tell their stories. And whether it's through written oral histories or the video projects that we've been able to do with them, we are getting all kinds of perspectives of the home front, because there was not just one experience. There were millions of home front experiences. And so by interacting with these incredible people and hearing their stories and being able to convey them to the public, that is how we keep the public engaged with this incredible resource. And honestly, I think that getting to work here at this park with these amazing ladies and all the people involved with the home front is one of the highlights of my career. We could not be this park without these incredible people.
I have one final question for you, and I've already asked it, but I would love to hear from you because I think it's very important for all of us to tune in and pay attention to the things that you already know are the biggest takeaways. So help us all tune in to what the biggest takeaway of this evening is, in your opinion.
I think the biggest takeaway is that there is always something to learn from this history. It is very much still resonating with us years later. 80 years or so ago, we were engaged in World War II, but it is still relevant today, and we will never run out of stories to tell. We will never run out of experiences to highlight. And there are so many parallels between 80 years ago and today that we can keep showing and keep finding meaning for the American public. And I think that's the big takeaway, is that this park is important. It is critical. These ladies have helped us tell these stories for many, many years, and we hope to keep telling their stories for many, many years to come.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to speak with you. I think we can walk back down to our seats and maybe have a glass of wine, rest a little. All right. Yes. I've always loved a wave, especially a lady who knows how to wave. I don't think they teach us that anymore. So lovely. All right, so we're going to have, I think, a song or some music or some other loveliness going on here on the stage, and we're transitioning our evening. So if you wanted to be loud or if you wanted to chat, now is your opportunity to do so. And I get to scratch something off of my bucket list. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but you shall see, and you will be wildly impressed, I'm sure of it. How was dinner, everybody? Yeah? Was it good? Yeah. I get so nervous for these events, I don't eat for 3 days straight. It smelled very delicious. Are we still transitioning? Yeah? Okay. I should probably tell you a story. I want to tell you this story. Did you guys notice that I have an accent? You did not? Did you not hear me ask this question? Did you not hear me? Did you hear my accent or no? Seriously? You're going to make my dreams come true. I have an accent. I didn't practice this. So I was born and raised in Romania. I immigrated to the United States 20 years ago. And I just recently went through my keepsake box and I found the immigration documents that I had from immigrating from Romania after the fall of communism to Germany. And when I was asked whether I wanted to participate at this event, I said yes for very specific reasons. But one of them is what one of our Rosies already said on stage, and that is just the beauty of the American dream and the responsibility that we have. And I love that these lovely women have taken this evening to remind us of the dream and the vision we get to have. Okay, so I will be right back. Pay attention to this. Chat away. careful what you put on your bucket list. Be very, very careful what you put on your vision board. Changing on stage into a Rosie outfit may just come true for you as well. All right. How do you like this look? Ladies, I want to ask the women something in this room. Gentlemen, I'm not trying to exclude you. When was the last time you got dressed and then went on stage but didn't look in a mirror? Yeah, you see? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. This may or may not be water. All right. I'm going to come downstairs. I put on lower heels too, if you didn't notice. You guys at home are missing out if you did not notice that, so that I can run to you. All right. Sorry about that. I sincerely apologize. I know it didn't sound sincere, but I can't help that. I very much apologize. So we changed some things up. We made things loud to help you pay attention better, and we also changed up our fund and need conversation. Now this is a little bit different than what you're used to if you've gone to auctions. We have decided that the most important thing for the Rosie the Riveter organization and the future, the vision of what Rosie the Riveter is about, is to really be able to have anchor donors, to be able to have a donation that we can count on, something that we can celebrate and we can create a vision and a way forward year over year. So what we've decided to do this year is to invite you to pull out your phones, if you will, and at home, you get to play as well. This is really fun, because in your chat, you are receiving a little emoji, a little icon. You're going to get to participate in by scanning the QR code that is on page 4 of your program, or scanning the QR code that is on the end of your table. It says Anchor Donor. So if you look around this room, you will see that you are surrounded not just by our inspiring Rosie the Riveters, and our ambassadors, and our beautiful Wrangler, and the volunteers in this room, but you will also be able to look around and see that you are the star. You are the persons that we are counting on. So if you can scan that QR code in your program, page 4, or on the edge of your table, pull up your phone, and one of our lovely volunteers is going to hand out a hat for you. So we want to be sure that every single person in this room can wear a hat. Can you see one of these hats? Somebody have a hat? I just put on a beautiful bandana, but I would love to have a hat. So if you scan, thank you, Lucy, you're a darling. Okay, so scan your, you've used QR codes, yes? I know you have because you've been out eating at a restaurant in the last 2 years. So you go and you scan the QR code and you choose your contribution. It can be $15, $25, $50, whatever it is that you are most comfortable with that allows us to be able to continue to make a difference and to be able to count on that donation every single month. This is the subscription model, a very easy way of entering and being part of this vision. I think the other thing that's important is Rosie the Riveter is all about participation. It's all about being able to contribute at some level, whatever level you can participate in. This isn't about comparing and contrasting. It's about knowing that with your dollar, you can participate and you can say, I am in. Have you had anyone get a hat so far? You got a hat! Thank you, sir. You do not know how that delights me. There is a hat. Anyone else want to get a hat and contribute $15, $25, or $50? I'm reminded of Marianne's words. I specifically didn't do anything great, but I participated in something that was great. This evening is all about your participation. It's all about seeing the vision and being able to contribute to the next generation and loving well by being able to continue to tell these stories of these wonderful women and men who worked at the home front. So pull out your phone, use that QR code, and scan it. You can donate at any level, $15, $25, or $50. So sign up, select the monthly donation that you're comfortable with, and you will receive a hat. Now at home, you can do the same thing. And a hat will be mailed to you. Rosie the Riveter Trust. Who else got a hat? There you go. Lucy, can you deliver a hat to this lovely gentleman over here? A round of applause. Thank you. You know, I get it. I know that feeling, like you're being asked to do something, and you're just here to have fun with your friends, to engage. I get it, I understand. But we're also here to support a cause, yes? We're here to give what we can. Anyone else? Hat? Yeah? You got a hat! Here's what actually, you know what, everybody? I want to tell you something. Here's what's happening. You guys are being too shy about saying you scanned the code and got a hat. I need you to be loud when you get a hat. You got a hat! Woo! Let's do that round of applause for the next gentleman who got a hat. All right, can I get 2 more people to get me a hat while I'm walking up? My back for 2 seconds and there's more hats. I love it. Good job. All right. So I walked the crowd a little bit just because I wanted to be close to you. But I'm not sure that you can hear me way in the back. So I'm wondering, there's another hat. Yes. Another hat. And another hat. Okay, can I have everyone who got a hat wave their hat, and then everyone else who doesn't have a hat applaud? Look at that. Good job. You guys are doing so well. Okay, let's make a pact. You don't get to be shy anymore. Is that a deal? I didn't offer you anything in exchange. It's not really a deal. It's a request. Can you not be shy anymore? Go ahead and tell me when you're up to something, because I'm going to ask you to go to work. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and try to show me if you can raise your hand. Do this. Your right hand or your left hand? Let's go. Well, I'm a couple of people. Let's do it. Everybody, table 30. What's happening over there? Table 27. Raise your hand. Let's see. Yes. We are coming up to the part of our evening where we are going to actually get to have some fun and get to make a difference. You all have a program in your hands, right in front of you. Show me the program. Wave the program. Yes, a couple of people. Everybody, here in the front, wave your program. Yes, thank you. More programs? Good. I have a program up here. This is what I'm talking about. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Couple of rules. First of all, I would like to ask you to participate. Can I have that? Participation? Clap and say we can do it. What was that? Let's do it one more time. Clap, and as you clap, say we can do it. Oh, you are so kind. All right, Let's see that we can have a paddle in front of us that it has your number on it, and raise your paddle. This is just for practice. We're practicing. Raise your paddle. Thank you. We're doing really well with that. So everyone here tonight can use their paddle at least once. I promise you. Every single one of you can use your paddle at least one time. You remember that you're here to support this incredible vision and the future of the Rosie the Riveter Trust. But before we get started, I want to see you one more time raise your arm. Let's see it. Okay. And do you remember what the battle cry was of our Rosie? Who remembers the battle cry? It's right over there. We can do it. So let's say one more time. 1, 2, 3. We can do it. Good job. Okay, so tonight we're going to get started for our donor campaign. And we're going to start at a very, very easy does it pace. Can we do that? I would like to see you raise your paddle if you have $1,000 that you would like to donate to Rosie the Riveter Trust. $1,000. Can I see $1,000 in the air? Keep your paddle up until I read and say your number out loud. Raise your paddle. Raise your paddle. Let's see if I can see your paddle. Who wants to raise their paddle first? $1,000. Can I see $1,000? Yes, $1,000 over there, $1,000. Good job. Keep your paddle up, keep your paddle up. $1,000, $1,000, another $1,000. The right side of the room is doing really well. How about the left side of the room? Can I see $1,000? Somewhere on the left side of the room. Keep your paddle up, please, until I call your number. $1,000, raise your paddle. Okay, so we have 2 over there. What's that? Shout it out to me. Yes! 3, 5, 4. Here we go. What's the other one? 5, 5, 4. 1, 5, 4. Next time, I should bring my glasses. 1, 5, 4. Awesome. There was another one. 1, 3, 7. Yeah, just shout it out to me. 1, 3, 7. Perfect. Yay. All right. $1,000. We have another $1,000 paddle on this side of the room. Anyone? All right. Okay. That's all right. We have $1,000. Now we're moving on to an even easier part. How about this? Remember, I made a promise to you that every single person in this room tonight could raise their paddle at least once. I need you to... $245. Jesus, Lord have mercy. $245. Yes, sir, for $500. Anyone else? $500. Raise your paddle. Can I see 500? Can I see 500 in the back of the room? Table 30, table 27, table 25. $500. Everyone else? Anyone else? Raise your paddle. All right, okay, okay. Let's take a deep breath. We're gonna move on. I have half a mind to ask you guys to stand up and shake out your wiggles. Are you ready? Are you ready to do it? Here we go, $250. Who is ready to raise their paddle for $250? Can I have a few people raise their paddle for $250? $250 in the back. $250 in the back. Lucy, get that for me, please? Yes. 250 in the back. Anyone else? 250 over here. Can I see a volunteer running over there? 250. Who else has 250? Yeah, the number was 229? 229. Thank you very much for your $250 donation. $237. Thank you very much for $250. Awesome. Anyone else? $250. Let's see if we can do a couple more $250s. Raise your paddle if you have $250. Okay, see $250 in the front, $250 in the way back. All right. Okay, guys, so guess what? We're coming up to the part that I told you we're going to come to. What was that part? Do you remember? Everyone in this room will be able to raise their paddle at least once. So I'm going to have my volunteers cued to run this room and shout off numbers to me because we are raising our paddle for $100. Can I see $100? Raise your paddle. There's one. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep them up. Keep them up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Keep your paddles up until your number has been called. 11. Can I see 12 for $100? 12. $100. Keep your paddle up, please, so that we can capture your donation. $100. $100. Raise your paddle. We have 13 or 14 people already committing to $100. There are way more than 15 people in this room. There is another one. Yes. Raise your paddle for 100. Think of the difference that you can make for the next generation, for the story to continue. Truly, it's an easy, easy way. All of these numbers. Top to bottom? 126. Okay. So we have 126, 353, 272, 235, 326, 195, 262. If you have raised your paddle and if you have raised your paddle, I called your number, you can lower your paddle. Keep your paddle up. 308 for 100. Anyone else want to raise their hand for 100? 339 for 100. Thank you very much. Rosie, that's a Rosie for 100. Good, thank you so much. 276 for 100. Can I have more paddles raising for 100? A Rosie raised her paddle. 306. I see you in the back. Thank you very much. What? 281. Thank you very much. 276. You guys are amazing. That was 276. There's one in the way back. I see you. I see your diligence. I see your commitment to holding that paddle up. I can't get to you just yet, but that is 218. Yes? 218 for 100. Thank you very much. There's another one way in the back. 2 way in the back. Awesome, awesome, awesome. 265. 265. Can I see another hand paddle up for 100? 238. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep it going. 219. $100. Raise your paddle. 234. I see you. Good job. Thank you very much. Keep it going. Keep it going. Remember that you're raising your paddle for a cause, that you're participating in a bigger conversation than yourself. That's really why we're here. We're not here to just listen to the story. We're here to participate in the story continuing. So raise your hand. One more round. Here it goes. Raise your paddle for a $100 donation. 289. Thank you, sir, very much. I see you. There's more in the back. You guys, if you can, stand up And give yourselves a huge round of applause because you came to play and you did. Louder, make it count, celebrate the good things. Thank you all to those of you who have raised your paddle and have given from the goodness of your heart, can see the vision, are able to contribute. Truly, every single contribution does not just matter, it counts in ways and multiplies in ways that you might never, ever know. So I hope you're enjoying your evening, and thank you for raising the paddle. We just got started. Okay. All right, guys. How's dessert, by the way? Dessert is good? All right. The conversation is very, very lively, and I love that. I'm imagining myself in my kitchen with my friends and everyone having 9 million conversations around the table and me not being able to keep track of any of them. But if I could just steal your attention for just a moment, because I have something very special to share with you. In fact, this is a really, really fun part of the evening. I think all the parts so far were fun, but what's really wonderful about these kinds of events is, you know, you start out moseying and having a cocktail and meeting your friends, and you sit down and you have dinner, and it all culminates tonight with a dance party. That's something, right? So, right before we go to a dance party, we would like to start really introducing you to our auction. So, in the video that you will be able to watch in the documentary, there's a woman, her name is Liddy Mitchell. She was introduced to us tonight. And she says something at the very, very end that I will soon not forget. She said that her experience as a Rosie was putting on these leather shoes and putting on these bulky clothes and leather jackets and going to work because she believed in the vision and she believed in her country and she believed in a future that was much, much bigger than her. Do we have another? Yes, 194, never too late. Thank you for coming to the party. Is that for 1,000? 500, 100, 100. I got you. No, I'm joking. $100. Thank you very much. No. So Liddy Mitchell said, as she was going to work, right? She was going to work, putting on these clothes and being a welder. She said that it was like fire was coming out of my hands, and I did it. And that is, I think, the spirit of every Rosie. As she can say, I did it. I contributed to something bigger than myself. So with that in mind, I want to invite you to maybe take a deep breath and tune in a little. I promise this part is almost over, but I would love your attention because what's here is this beautiful, incredible poster, the Rosie poster. I see you. the Rosie poster, a large format of the iconic Westinghouse Rosie poster signed by 5 of our beloved Rosie ambassadors. When the national park opened, they came weekly to share their stories, which helped to launch their celebrity status as Rosies, with hundreds of invites to visit DC, Normandy, Pearl Harbor, parades, and classrooms. And one of our Rosies, I hear, even got to kiss the president. So we are going to start this auction off at $200. Can I see 200, 200 in the back, 300, 400. Please keep your paddle up so I can see it. And do 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, $800. So I see $800, $900, $1,000. So I see $1,000. Keep your paddle up even if you're not at the 900. Where was one at 900? You're just gonna come up. Yes, sir. Oh. No. I think we're in trouble, you guys. Here you go.
I have to say this. This poster, closer, this poster is one of a kind. In 2018, this is donated by my team at Kaiser Permanente. We had this poster made at an event that we held in 2018 during Women's History Month, celebrating women in the workforce. And these women, 3 of them are here today, 4 of them are here today. Oh, closer to my mouth. There you go. And I can't let it go for this amount of money. I need help from this audience to move this number higher. This means too much to my team. And if it doesn't go high enough, I'm going to buy it back. So I need some bids out there. I need people raising their paddles for a one-of-a-kind poster signed by 5 Rosies with their signature.
I see you at 1,000.
Keep going. Keep going.
1,100, 1,200.
12, let's go.
1,200. $1,200, 197.
Come on, do I hear more? Come on.
1,200.
A little bit more.
1,300.
Tom, thank you, Tom.
$1,300. Do I see 14? 1,400.
Tom,
1,400.
Thank you, Tom.
1,400, 1,500. Do I see 1,600, 1,700? $1,700. Do I see 1,800?
Lily.
Raise your paddle. Do I see 1,800? Or 17?
Can we get
Do I
to
see
18?
18?
$2,000 and I will promise to get off the stage.
$2,000 and he promises to get off. We're at 1,800, 1,800, 1,900.
You said 2.
You're at 2,000.
There you go.
2,000. Thank you. 197. $2,000. Good job. All right. Thank you. That's an incredible poster. A real legacy piece. All right. Who here enjoys getaways? Little getaways, wine country, you know, kicking back, relaxing. This next item is for you. Wine weekend in Golden Country. Escape for the weekend and enjoy a fabulous wine excursion in the Gold Country of the Sierra Foothills. The Sierra Foothills in the fall are magical. This package is generously donated by Rosie the Riveter Trust Board member Warren Arbor and his wife Sherry. Let's give it up for Warren Arbor and his wife Sherry. Thank you very much. The wine weekend in Golden Country includes 2-night stay at the historic Dunbar House Bed and Breakfast in Murphy's, a welcome basket with wine and treats upon your arrival, Warren will curate a selection of wineries to visit for a Saturday wine tasting excursion. And wait, it doesn't stop there, you guys. Wine, cheese, and appetizers on Saturday afternoon at Warren and Sherry's personal residence. You will be hosted, and you'll be wined, and you will be dined. Saturday dinner at the Murphy's Historic Hotel, which boasts an award-winning menu. And then a case of Gold Country wines. Warren invites you to take home 12 bottles of wine from the vineyard of his property so you can continue savoring your weekend as you open each vintage and remember the joys of life. We are starting this lot out at $750. So please raise your paddle. $750, I see you. $850, I see you. Can I see a $950? $950 for this beautiful. $950, I see you. $1,050. Can I see $1,150? $1,150. Can I see $1,250? $1,250 for this lovely long weekend. $1,250. Can I see $1,350? $1,350, I see you. Boy, the back of the room is coming through. $1,450. Can I see $1,450 in the back? Yes, sir, thank you. $1,450. Can I see $1,550 for this lovely, long, beautiful weekend in Golden Country? $1,550. Can I see $1,650 for this weekend? $1,650. Raise your paddle. $1,650. Do I see $1,650? $1,650. Yes, sir. There you go. $1,650 for the long weekend in Golden Country. $1,650. Going once, going twice, and sold. Sir, what's your number? We got it. Awesome. 343, congratulations. Big round of applause. All right, if you didn't hear my accent before, you are sure to hear it for this lot. It is another lovely, beautiful getaway. When I first moved to the United States, people would ask me when I would want to go back to Europe. And I was kind of perplexed because I love Europe and I love traveling through Europe. But you know what I love even more, and this is sincerely, absolutely the truth. I love traveling throughout the United States. It is one of the most beautiful places and countries with such diversity. And so you too will get the opportunity to travel to an incredible spot. If you are into music, food, art, culture, you will want to raise your paddle for this beautiful trip. This is a trip to New Orleans, a getaway to New Orleans for not just one, but 4 passes to the National Museum in the heart of New Orleans. 2-night stay at the Higgins Hotel, the official hotel of the museum, 4 passes to the Vue Orleans Immersive and Interactive Museum, and 380-degree or 360-degree observatory. Vue Orleans has also already included a souvenir for you so you can relish the memories, an ornament and journal to commemorate your travels. 2 tickets to select showings of the New Orleans Ballet, and $100 certificates towards dinner at Commander's Palace and Antoine's Restaurant. So this New Orleans trip, this getaway, music, food, art, culture, the whole 9, starts at $750. So can I see $750? Raise your paddle for New Orleans at $750. I see $750.
Number 203.
$950. Can I see $1,050? $1,050. $1,050. $1,150. $1,150. I see $1,150. $1,150. $1,250. Can I raise your paddle for $1,250 to New Orleans? Raise your paddle to New Orleans, $1,250. Is that a paddle race? No. I I am reminded to remind you that it's the World War II Museum. 4 tickets to the World War II Museum in New Orleans.
I think we have a winner here.
What's the paddle number?
Amy, what's your paddle number? 203.
203.
Amy.
Amy, congratulations.
How much? 1050. 1050.
Okay, 1050.
Next.
All right. We've gone to wine country, to New Orleans, and we're coming back to wine country. This next lot is 2 nights for 2 guests. This experience includes a wine tasting at One Hope Winery and 1 room for a 2-night stay for 2 guests at Estate 8, a private residence located in One Hope's property in Rutherford, California. This is glorious wine country. The home has a modern farmhouse aesthetic, large communal kitchen and living room, iconic 35-foot lookout tower, pool, and plenty of outdoor space to enjoy. Each suite has a unique design featuring different combinations of indoor-outdoor showers, soaking tubs, fireplaces, and either a private balcony or a patio. If you have not traveled through wine country, have been to Napa and been to this exquisite winery and stayed at their property, this is a beautiful getaway for 2, and we are starting this lot at $1,000. Can I raise your paddle for $1,000 for One Hope Winery? An exquisite place, a wonderful spot for you to relax, enjoy wine country, and enjoy a beautiful weekend in Rutherford, California. Can I see 1,000? Raise your paddle for 1,000. I know this was a real winner last year, so we want to be able to really share this with you. Can I see your hand? Raise your hand for 1,000 for One Hope Napa, 2-night stay at the One Hope Winery.
I'll do it.
You'll do it?
I'm going to do it.
For 1,000?
Who wants to outbid me?
Who else wants to do it for 1,000? 1,100. Can I see 1,100? I see a 1,100, a 1,200. I mean, I may raise, I didn't know we're allowed to raise our paddle.
Sure.
Sure, okay, 1,200. Can I see 1,300? You guys, if you have not been to Napa, that is the most exquisite spot to go and wine taste, enjoy a beautiful weekend, stay in an exclusive private estate, enjoy great wine. One Hope is known for their way of giving back to the community. Their wine is delicious. Their space is beautiful. I think we're 1,200, yes?
Who? Not me. Who? Did anyone bid me up? Who
yes,
bid me
in the
up?
Back. We had 1,100 in the back.
What's the number? Who's 1,100? Anyone?
Lucy, I think it's the table in the back, yes?
Did you overbid me? Did you want it? No, she was playing.
Oh,
I
she
win.
was playing.
I win.
You win,
$1,000.
You win. Awesome. Well, round of applause for Sarah and the beautiful weekend she will be spending in Rutherford, California. Awesome. All right, guys, we are almost there. So we've gone to Napa, and now we're going to my other favorite place. How about a long vacation, a beautiful vacation to Los Cabos, to luxury getaway, not just for you, but for up to 6 guests. So, these are for your favorite peeps. Pay attention. Stay in a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom suite at a 4-star beachfront resort ranked as one of the best in Los Cabos, located on the beach. Imagine yourself stepping out of your vacation spot onto the beach. The Grand Suite has 2 bedrooms with king beds, 1 pull-out sofa, a balcony, a kitchenette, and 3 bathrooms. You guys, it doesn't end there. On site, there are restaurants, bars, and a swimming pool. You will be able to enjoy the resort, which is only 5 to 10 minutes drive to downtown San Jose del Cabo. So, we are starting this. Not only that, you're getting a day cruise for 4 people with food and alcohol and lovely celebration, lots of memory. We are starting this at $2,000. Tricked you. Can I see 2,000? There's 2,000, 2,100, 2,200. Can I see 2,300, 2,400? Can I see 2,500, 2,500, 2,500? Raise your hand for 2,500. $2,500. $2,500 over there as well? No. Yes? 2,500. 2,600. 2,600. Can I see another hand raised for 2,600? 2,600. Is there 2,700? 2,700. Anybody? 2,700. Somebody? No. Is there somebody at home? No. 2,700. 2,700. 2,700. 2,800. I see 2,800. 2,900. 2,900. You guys, 2,000, 3,000. You raise your paddle for 3,000? Okay. All right. All right. Everybody, guess what? I want to ask you something. Raise your paddle if you are at 2,900. You're at 2,900, both of you. There was somebody else at 2,900. If I can get you this trip for both of you at 2,000, you don't have to go together. You both get to go with 6 people of your choice. 2,900. Can I see your paddle? 2,900. And that gentleman that had his paddle up for 2,900, you go again. Raise your paddle. 2,900.
Okay, number 169.
Thank you so much.
262.
262. We have
one more. Yes?
Who else?
Who else? Do it. Want to? Yeah, 435. 3 trips.
That's right. That's it. There we go. Thank you very much. You guys are wonderful. You did an amazing job. I know how hard it is to raise your paddle, but you did it. Please don't forget to remember that you can still contribute on a monthly basis and be an anchor donor. You are the loves of Rosie the Riveter, and we rely on your donation, no matter how big or how small, to continue the vision and the cause that is Rosie. It has been my pleasure to be your MC and to be your auctioneer this evening. It is time for the next segment.
Hi, everyone. Wow. Thank you so much, Bianca. You're amazing. Amazing. My friends, before the dancing starts, we have our inaugural Rosie the Riveter Certification Awards that I want to take a moment and say what trailblazers we have in the audience tonight. Really. These awards are an idea that was formed with a group of phenomenal colleagues who were dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. And here I want to recognize all Rosies who worked on the home front and for all their contributions. It's the role they had, that they played in supporting our country, that serves us as a reminder of how much can be accomplished when women are included, represented, and valued in the trades. And I also want to recognize the men. And I don't have this man standing up here for no reason. People like Vice President Tom Baca, men during the wartime that declared that everybody were needed, everyone. And they brought people of all backgrounds to work on the home front. And of course it was challenging, and it was messy, and it remained divisive in many ways. But change did take place, and that's important. And that's what we're doing with these Rosie the Riveter Certification Awards. So with a consortium of industry advocates, we created these awards because women remain sorely underrepresented in the trades, and we are committed to change. These awards are designed as a seal of approval for construction workplaces and set a standard for construction contractors to measure themselves and their peers in the industry progress towards gender equity. So let these awards send the message that we are all working together to increase opportunities for women in construction, and that we can measure that progress through these awards. I'm so pleased to acknowledge the following 3 awardees and ask the following people to accept on behalf of their company. Teresa Maxwell of Skansa, will you please come up? And Scott Vicker, the president of Nova. If you're able to come up, we have awards for you. I also want to say Tykert is also an awardee. Unfortunately, our representative was not well tonight. Okay. We can give that to Skansa. Teresa? Come on up. So we'll talk about Skansa. Skansa was has a huge number of projects with many contractors, and it's clear that whenever possible, congratulations, whenever possible, their goal is to include women contractors. They go out of their way to tout the projects that women have led and take a lead role in advocating for gender inclusion. Congratulations. All right, and Scott. Yeah. Nova. So Nova Group Incorporated is committed to not just hiring, but retaining women. And they are dedicated to creating a supportive and inclusive workplace with 40% of admin key decision makers being women. And on a side note, I just want to say it is such a pleasure to see you. You've really been opening doors to youth, especially our Rosie Service Corps, and we look forward to forging a very strong relationship. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. And now, from our presenting sponsor, Vice President Tom Baca, I'd like to give him the stage to close out the evening before the band starts.
Well, I wasn't planning on saying anything, but I never have a problem talking. On behalf of the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers, on behalf of our almost 500,000 building trades members in California and our almost 70,000 apprentices, we have, and I'm not quite sure how many members, female members, but we have more members, female members in our apprenticeship and in our trades than any other state. And in the Boilermakers and our other 14 trades, you know, we're striving to expand on that. The Boilermakers in our shipyards that we have up and down the coast. Of course, not like during World War II when the Boilermakers had 350,000 Boilermakers in the yards on the West Coast, and 20% of that in all the trades was Rosie's. And we're happy to have all the Rosies here, whether it was in doing aircraft, tank, agricultural. You know, we're proud of all the Rosies, not just the Boilermakers. My grandfather worked in the shipyards in Portland, Oregon, and in the yards there, and my father served in World War II over in Europe, and then got in Local 104 in Seattle. So I'm third generation Boilermaker. But I just want to congratulate all the Rosies that are here. This is near and dear to the Boilermakers because we are the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers and Iron Shipbuilders. And we've obviously, if you could see the makeup of the Boilermakers here, women, people of color, we've obviously merged locals. We merged in '84 with Local 513. Ernie King was the business manager then out of Richmond, out of here. And we've obviously changed. World War II, Boilermaker women weren't allowed per our Constitution. Obviously, they had to change the Constitution because we needed the women. We had locals were all black and they weren't allowed to have a vote. And obviously, that was unconstitutional, was challenged in court, and that changed the Boilermakers, and not just the Boilermakers, all of the trades, all of the unions. So that was the beginning of the civil rights, and we don't ever forget our history. We don't ever shy away from it. We speak of it. It's who we are. It's how we changed. And we'll never forget our history. We'll never deny our history because it's how we come to be where we are now. So I'm very proud of the Rosies that are here. And, you know, this is the Rosie the Riveter Trust is very special to us. And we're just proud of all the Rosies that are here. And whatever we can do for the Rosie Riveter Trust, the Boilermakers will always be here, and the trades. Thank you very much.
And now, Clip Tones, are you ready? Woo-hoo! Time to dance. Thank you so much.
Don't you know each cloud contains, yeah, pennies from heaven. Find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. If you're hearing thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. If you're hearing thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you, and pennies from heaven for you, and pennies from heaven for you and me.
Thank you so much. All right, anyone who has purchased a key tonight? Oh, I don't have mine on me, but get it out, look at the number on it. We're gonna actually draw a number, and we are gonna hope that there's a winner in the audience. If there isn't, we're gonna draw another one, because we actually did not sell the 100, but bear with us, we think this is gonna work. So, did you choose one? What number? Number 41. Is there a 41? Huh?
41, check your keys.
Is there a 41 in the house? Going once. Okay, we're going to choose another number. Choose another number. You can open that thing, yeah. You can just open it and tell it to me. Don't put 41 back in there, please. Oh, lucky 21. Is there a 21 in the house?
Oh, I think maybe it's
Yeah! We have a winner. Thank you, thank you. Lucky 21 strikes again. That was the first key that they sold. Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
stones, honeysuckle road. Oh, you're my sweetheart, honeysuckle road.
How do we change this up? Should we change it up and continue?
Thank you, my bad.
Taking a chance on Bob.
Taking the chance on Bob Trio? No, that's not the trio, that's an arrangement.
Should I do this tempo or fast?
That's the same tempo.
A
little bit slower than last week.
Really? One, two,
Here I go again. I hear those trumpets blow again. All aglow again, taking a chance on love. Here I slide again, about to take that ride again. Oh, starry-eyed again, taking a chance on love. Oh, I thought the cards were afraid, and I never would try. Now I'm taking a gamble in the age of hindsight. Things are mending now. I see a rainbow blending now. Oh, happy endings now, taking a chance on love. taking a chance on love. Here I slacking, about to take that ride again. Oh, all aglow again, taking a chance on love. Oh, I thought the cards were framed, and I never would try. Now I'm taking that game, and the ace of hearts slide. Things are mending now. I see you ripple in the now. Oh, happy endings now. Taking a chance on love. Taking a chance on love. Taking a chance on love. Thank you so much. You all look so beautiful this evening. We're the Cliptones. Thank you for having us.
Sounds great. Place the Lord down great.
We're gonna switch it up.
It's too fast.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that businessman show. Yeah. E7 first quarter? E7, yeah. What do we do here? Last again? I don't know. Yeah. No, that's an intro written. Oh, yeah.